the cloud, section 2. Here we go. All right. So this is class number 2, or session 2 of class number 8 we're on, 9 we're on, listing presentations. My cat is here to say hello to everybody. Ow! She just bit me. It's a bad cat. She didn't want to get put down, I think. She wants to stay here on my lap. At any rate, so here we go. I'm going to show you my handouts and make these available to you after the class so that you can use them yourself. And here's the book that I wanted to show you. Is this showing up backwards to you? Can you read that? You can read it? Okay. To me, it looks backwards. Okay, so this is the book that I was telling you about. And there's lots of other books out there like this, and I haven't really brought my library of books to the office, but I do want to do that for you guys so that you can have access to books like this. It's a pretty good sized book. And one of the things that he puts in this book is about writing a book yourself. And I bought his template of a book and modified it for myself. I haven't really finished it. I got about 3/4 through that project and didn't get through it. But it's easy to self-publish a book on how to buy and how to sell a house. And it makes you look like a professional and get famous. And that's his premise in part of this book, is that if you're famous and writing a book makes you famous by automatic default, then people will begin to trust you just because of the virtue of having published a book. So I can give you that book if you want to do that. I'll help you do that. Get it self-published for $3 or $4 a copy and pay somebody on Fiverr to finish the final touches to put it together for you. And you can have a book to put out there and hand that to a seller as a way of showing them that you know something about selling homes. But he also had a bunch of other handouts, and that's what I'm going to show you here. The handouts, and some of these were also ones that I created as well. So I'm going to exit out of full screen and put you guys down here, and we're going to go, oh, I got to share my screen first. Oops, forgot that part. Oops, got to go back to full screen to find how to share video here. Share screen, there we go. All right, share my screen. Now we can tuck you guys down. So I'm going to go through these in no particular order here. And we'll just go down the list of pages of things that I present. So I have a page in here called About Camille Victor, and that's the picture that you saw before, and a little bit more information about me and my philosophy on real estate, my history in real estate, my background as a realtor, and what I was doing before I got into real estate. So this is talking about my history as an architect and a builder, and how I started this brokerage and things like that. My outlook on life and how I can help them and how I care about them. I want to help them with their journey of selling their home. So there's that. And you can create a piece like that about yourself, 1 or 2 pictures about you and your family or your dog or whatever you want to put in it, and a little bit of information about those topics. Who are you? How did you get into real estate? What have you done in real estate? What were you doing before real estate? How can you help them, and why should they hire you? Something about each of those things, no more than 1 page, kind of like a mini CV or resume, okay? But make it more conversational, like a story about yourself, okay? All right, interview questions. Now, I haven't used this one in this market, but this is one that I used in California a lot because I had a good sales record there. And I could sell homes that other agents couldn't, and I could talk about that. So this is the top 10 questions you must ask any agent before you list your home. So if they're going to be talking to other agents, you want to head off at the pass the answers to these questions. The question they should ask the agent: do you have an extensive written marketing plan? Camille's answer, yes. The other agent's answer, don't know, and find out. Why it matters. Having a plan gives you solid expectations. Did the agent answer with the correct answer, yes or no? What's the average number of days it takes you to sell and close a home? Now, in Palm Springs market, the average days on market was 100 days. I could sell homes in 30 days or less. Listing to offer. Now then take a little more time to sell it with the closing process, but I could get an offer in 30 days or less if they worked with me on my program of how I wanted to sell this home. And here it's saying the average was 85 days, but a lot of the time it was over 100. So how is their days on market? Are you just a real estate agent or are you a broker? In California, there's qualifying, non-supervisory qualifying broker type license and salesperson license. And salesperson is equivalent to an associate broker. I had the higher quality license and I wanted them to find out if the other agent did and to understand that it does make a difference to hire a broker with more experience and more education. Does the agent have a strong internet presence and technology tool belt? Yes, I do. And I know how to take advantage of those things. Is the other agent been in the business 50 years but still uses a flip phone? It's a good question, right? So internet is where buyers are. Technology is critical to doing business today, and many agents don't even have a website of their own. Can you find these agents on these outlets, Google and their website and Facebook and Realtor.com and Zillow and so forth? What percentage of your sales are listings? For me at that time, it was 60% listings and 40% buyers. So a listing agent has the experience and the perspective to help you best. How many homes did you sell in the last 12 months? At that point in time, the last time I updated this, I'd sold 23 homes in the previous 12 months. So you want somebody who's sold enough homes to be an active agent, but not so much that you don't get the personal attention. 75% of agents sell only 4 homes a year. And then I have them check the box. How did the other agent answer that? Do you sell real estate full-time or do you work another job? This is my full-time job. And I tell them the agent should be a dedicated full-time agent. Now, if you are not a dedicated full-time agent, you might not want to use that one because it's going to be used against you. Are you a member of the Board of Realtors? Yes. And are you local or are you from a different market? We had a lot of agents from outside Palm Springs area, from Los Angeles, San Diego areas coming in to do sales in our area because they had cooperation between the boards where they could do that. But a local realtor is always best, right? How long have you been a realtor? At that time, I had been in the business more than 9 years, and that's plenty of experience to be able to solve problems and use my experience to help them. What is your ranking in the Board of Realtors? At that time, I was in the top 5%. And I would say to them, list your most valuable asset with a top ranking agent. So there we go. So this was kind of a questionnaire that I could give them, last updated September 2018. So I think I'd be ready to update that for this board in this, New Mexico here. Now, this is not my normal graphic style, but this is what I got from Noli Williams. And you can see he likes bold, kind of, really strong messaging. And it can't hurt to do that, I think, if you're trying to get across the point that you're a strong listing agent. So think about that as you do your graphics. To do this in pink and purple probably wouldn't have the same effect, even though I love pink and purple. So there you go. So that's that. And it's got my contact info at the bottom. It doesn't have the HomeSmart branding in it, but at least it has my contact info at the bottom, okay? Needs updating. All right, then we have my best marketing plan. This is also something I got from Noli Williams. I didn't do this stuff and I didn't get listings until I started using these tools and these pieces to help explain who I am and how I'm going to get the job done for them. So this stuff is in the PowerPoint, but it's also available as PDF handouts too, so that you can mix and match what you need to present in your folder. All right, and it's not so overwhelming. It's just a piece of paper instead of a 50-page PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so the marketing plan snapshot has my picture, has our branding. Camille Victor, your go-to realtor. Okay, so I'm really pumping them up. I can do this. Okay, we will employ several of these strategies, as many as practical or needed to get your house sold. So I don't promise them that I'm going to do all of these because I might get it sold before I even get to some of these. But I always do professional photography, either myself and get it retouched by Box Brownie and it looks like a professional did it, or if it's a higher end listing, I actually will hire a professional to get it done. And they don't pay for that. I should probably make that clear in there that they don't pay for the photography. I do. But anyway, so I explained how a lot of other agents don't do good photography. They really do a lousy job of photography, but I think that's important to highlight their home and get it sold. We also have the 360 tour in our office, our tour camera that you can use to, I was hosted by Ogulo. I'm changing that to Kula now. But it does a great job of promoting our listings. You don't have to appear in these pictures. In fact, you don't want to appear in these pictures, but they do a great job of catching attention on Facebook and other social media. And I think there's even a video feature where they can use it like a tour that walks through instead of just a picture. Anyway, outdoor advertising, strong, colorful signage for their yard, flyer boxes, and a QR code to take them to a dedicated mobile-friendly website. Internet advertising. So this is where that sheet that I was showing you in the PowerPoint presentation should come in to explain these are all the sites that we market our properties on as HomeSmart, not just through the MLS. We do open house ads, we do virtual tours, a dedicated property website. All of this is on the internet, and all of these websites are going to be where they can find their listings. Hundreds of websites. Alrighty, and then print advertising, just listed cards to help spread the word to the neighbors. Open houses every weekend or as long as they will want me to do it. So try to be really aggressive about open houses when it's a new listing, maybe less when it's a stale listing, but try to use that to help find buyers. Honestly, only about 10% or less of homes are sold because of an open house, but it's great marketing for you. You don't need to tell them that it's really just to help you, unless you don't want to do the open houses. With occupied homes, it's a lot harder to do open houses. So it really depends on their ability to get out of the house and let you show it. Social media marketing. We have the instant YouTube virtual tour video. And starting to Monday is new training on how to hold a virtual tour and a virtual open house. You don't have to appear in these videos, but your rankings and views will go up if you are. But you don't have to be in them if you don't want to be. Everybody's uncomfortable about being in video, even me. I look too fat, or I look, old, or don't like my hair, or whatever. Get over it and just do it. It will help your ranking and getting your stuff out there and getting buyers to contact you. You can use Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest, as well as Facebook and LinkedIn. But use your Facebook feed to promote your listings and show them how you do that. So you can do some pretend listings with these new construction properties and borrowing listings off of the MLS using that Facebook share button right in the MLS to put some listings in your feed and let them check you out. They're going to check you out. So have some listings in there. They don't have to know that they're not your listings. If you're using the MLS Feed Connect from the MLS right into your Facebook, it looks like those are your listings. So make yourself look, more busy than you really are. And they'll be impressed and they'll want to hire you. All right, so industry marketing, using my connections with the Greater Association, Albuquerque Association of Realtors, our in-house office promotion, broker caravan tour, Fidelity and Old Republic both organize caravan tours for new listings. And I want to make sure that the seller knows I'm going to put their house on Office Caravan as well as Fidelity Caravan. We don't have Office Caravan right now, but we could. If we get enough listings together, we would. Okay. And you network it out to other agents in the area through our Facebook groups, the marketplace groups, and things like that. So let them know how you're going to market the home besides just taking some pictures and putting it in the MLS. All of these things are available to you and easy to do to help find the right buyer and help them get this house sold faster. Okay. Here is my listing cancellation guarantee. All right. This is a piece I stole from a different agent besides Nolly Williams. I really like this. I don't remember where I came across it, but I've been using this for years. I also have worked with a lot of expired listings. So if you happen to be agent number 2 on a listing, you want to give this to the seller. I give it to them on every listing appointment because they've been burned by other agents in the past who didn't do a good job and then wouldn't let them out of the listing. And there's nothing that pisses people off more than that kind of a situation. So I let them know if I'm not doing a good job, they can fire me and I will cancel their listing for them. And here is my promise to do that. So I'm so confident that they're not going to want to fire me that I'll hand them to them at the beginning. All right, no penalties, no obligations. If you feel that my service is not met up to your expectations, you can let me go and I will graciously sign your cancellation. And here it says 72% of home sellers were dissatisfied with the performance of their agent. That is terrible, terrible. And no wonder people think realtors are worse than used car salesmen, right? So I give them the option to get out of the listing totally risk-free if I'm not doing my job. I have pledged to them that I'm going to do my very, very best, but if I don't meet their expectations, they can let me go, okay? And I sign it, and I put my email signature here for them to have all my contact information and brand it with me and my HomeSmart logo on it. And they've seen this before because it comes in every single email, right? They know that's me. And you could, you can do this with your own picture, but you can also say, my qualifying broker, Camille Victor, will cancel the listing for us. If you are not happy, you can fire me and Camille Victor will sign your cancellation because it's really the qualifying broker that has to release them, right? They may or may not know that, but at any rate, I will release them. Okay, so that's that piece. And then this one I did for the Coachella Valley market, but this was one you could borrow. This is pretty old piece. But when I use this in the off season. So in our market, wintertime is the off season and things heat up in the summertime, right? So I have this piece called Mythbusters. There's no home shoppers should say in our market in the wintertime, but in the desert of California, it gets to be 120 in the summertime. And people who don't live there year round think there's nobody out there shopping in the summertime, but there are. So I had some market statistics that actually showed that in August, we had 56% of homes sold and pended. And in January, there was 42% of homes sold and pended. So there were actually more sales on a percentage basis in August than January. And I showed them right here, we have an inventory shortage happening coming into the summertime. Here it is May at that time when I did this graphic, and there's not enough inventory compared to the buyers, okay? So graphics like that can help explain your understanding of the market and help them understand what the market's doing right now. So you can create a piece like this about the current market, maybe pertaining to COVID. Go research what the current trends are and show them. People still are buying and selling homes right now. And if you want to move, let's do it. There's no reason not to. Okay, here's a piece I did. I hardly ever use this piece, but this is about explaining commissions. That is one of their biggest questions because it's going to be their biggest expense in selling, right? We're 6% of their equity going to commissions. What does that do? So I show them how 3%, my commission is going to be 3% for total marketing plan and concierge level service. I will do anything you ask. If you need me to go meet the plumber there because you can't get there, I will do that. And whatever they need, I will do it. I add 0.5% for no lockbox. An agent must be present to show. And if the seller pays the brokerage transaction fee and document preparation fee, I will discount my commission to 2.5% or 2% even, for depending on the circumstances. I would discount my, if they want a discount on that, then they have to pay my fees for me because I don't have enough room in my commission left to do that. Here is something that I've never done, but I've offered a 1.5% flat listing fee for basic level service, but it's paid up front and it's non-refundable. So they just want to be in the MLS and have me take some pictures for them, and they want to try to sell it themselves for the most part. I'll help them. I'll give them contract paperwork. I'll give them advice, but I'm not going to knock myself out trying to do everything in my marketing plan if they want to reduce my fee that much. And I'm going to get paid up front. So now you've worked out my fee. What do you want to pay the other buyer's agent? 3% will get you the most exposure, and the less that you offer, the less exposure you might get. Now, I've been told we're not supposed to tell people this. I don't really find that it's true. I certainly will show properties, even if they're 2%. I'll try to get that made up by the buyer in my buyer's agency agreement. But there are agents out there who work like this, and I just let them know. It's not fair, perhaps, but there's people out there that they check the commission before they'll show it. So if that's the case, you know, I do see that 2% to the buyer's agent deals take a lot longer to sell. People are just not going to put up with getting just 2%. There's just not enough room in there to make our bills. And I explained that RESPA and MLS rules do not allow us to give a bonus for the selling agent by selling by a certain date or bringing a full price offer. You can't publicize that. You can do it, but you can't publicize that in the MLS. That's actually a violation. So don't do that. But you got to explain that to them. I also explained to them that many times the buyer's agent is paying 25 to 50% of their commission to either their team or their brokerage. So if you pay them less than 2.5%, their paycheck's going to be too small, and that's more than likely why you won't get as many showings if you're only going to offer 2%. So that sort of explains things to them in a very concise way about commissions. I have another piece on why 6% too, so I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, this is about the dedicated mobile-friendly website. I haven't used this one in a very long time. But this one is explaining about how I use QR codes. I put a little sign on their yard sign. I actually have one now that is more like a rider instead of a stick-on, laminated sheet. But this lets me have somebody drive up to the house, take their smartphone out and take a picture of this QR code and find out more about the house. There's my colored brochure box. There's flyer riders on here to give them more information about the deal. And so I let them know that I actually put as much information as I can out here at the curb to help people learn more about the property and find out if they're interested in seeing it. Okay, now.
Can we go back to the? Can we go back to the commission negotiations aspect?
Okay.
Couple questions on the 1.5% that you mentioned there for basic service level. Do you also ask them to, or try to negotiate for them to pay your gross receipts tax, or you pay it out of that?
Oh, they pay the gross receipts tax, yeah.
Okay, so you make sure they pay that. Okay. Now let's say that we have a for sale by owner, and we've talked to them and they've agreed for us to help them at the basic level. Can we still put that in the MLS, or we can't?
Yeah, well, if they're gonna list it with you at a basic level like that, and it is a listing, then yes, you have to put it in the MLS, and they have to offer something to the other agent to sell it.
To sell it. Okay. And that would require the listing agreement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, if they're just letting you have it as a pocket listing, and they're not letting you list it, and you're not representing them, then no, you don't put that in the MLS.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. And will you explain what a pocket listing is? Because for a long time, I didn't know what it was, and I kept my mouth shut. And I think there's enough new people on here that it'd be good to explain that.
Okay. Well, okay. So a pocket listing is technically a listing that you have signed with a seller, and they don't want it on the MLS, and they're only gonna, they'll work with whoever you bring a buyer, whether you or somebody else brings a buyer, but you have the listing. Now, technically, I think that's still allowed if the seller signs an agreement in the listing agreement that they don't want to be in the MLS. That is still allowed, but that's the only condition that it's still allowed by. But people use that term pocket listing to also mean people they don't have a listing agreement with at all. So your cousin says, I'd like to sell my home, but I don't care if I'm not in a hurry. I'm not really going to list it. But if you find a buyer, I would sell. So that is a pocket listing too. You don't have the listing. You're not representing them. You're not marketing their property, except that if you happen to come across somebody who wants to buy a home like that, that you would let them know and maybe get to sell it. So you cannot, with the current rules, I think you could market a property like that, but you also run the risk that some other realtor is going to come along and sell that property too. But you don't have a listing agreement. You just know somebody who would like to sell who isn't listed. And that's okay to go ahead and market that and try to find the right buyer for it. It's basically they're for sale by owner, but they don't have it publicly marketing anywhere. And that's okay to do. So that's why I was saying, if you need some buyer bait, go to the for sale by owners and see if they'll let you try to help them find a buyer. You don't have any obligation to put that in the MLS because you're not listing it. You're not representing them. You're just trying to find the right buyer for that property. So you can do that.
And what is a waiver? Yeah, for me that was good. And what is a waiver?
Give me more context.
I've heard the same terminology used. Looking for a home for sale on waiver. I've seen that email come. Okay, I've seen that come across several times from other brokers here in Santa Fe, and they say we haven't found anything on a pocket listing. We've seen everything in the MLS. Does anyone have anything on waiver?
The only thing I can think of that means is that the seller has waived being in the MLS or being on the internet.
On the internet, that could be it then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I think that means. And that's rare because sellers know that's the best place to find buyers is the internet. So if they're not willing to be on the internet, they're going to have a hard time finding a buyer. But that happens sometimes especially with wealthy individuals who are protective of their privacy, or movie stars and rock stars and other famous people. They don't want their home out there on the internet.
And maybe that's why we see that a lot in Santa Fe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a lot more of those than we do here.
Yeah.
That's right. So, okay, let's see here. This is something that's new in the MLS here. I mean, in our RSA. This is a children's listing agreement. This is just adorable. So if you have a family that you're working with and they have kids, this is something that you can use to have the kids get on board with the selling of the house. So you sign this with the kids and it says, I know that my parents have asked Camille Victor to sell our house. I know that they're going to work hard to find a family to buy our house and a family that will love our house as much as we do. I agree to be a team player and help by doing the following things. Make my bed every day, pick up my toys, and help keep our house neat and tidy. I understand if I do all these things listed above, I will receive a trip to Disneyland when the house sells. And the kid signs it and the parent signs it. I think that's just adorable. So, and then I sign it. So it helps kids get on board with the process of selling the home. Okay.
Who's paying for the trip to Disneyland?
Not me. This is something that I used when I was a brand new agent to try to get people to work with me as a seller. This is called my limited time free home warranty. I put limited time in there to create a sense of urgency. When you sign a 6-month listing agreement with me, this is when I was with before I got to HomeSmart. I put in here the terms of the American Home Shield thing of how to get the buyer's protection in there, that I would pay for the protection of their home, essentially providing a free home warranty while they were on the market and for the buyer, saving them money on closing costs. In our market, this would be a good thing to offer rather than a discount on your commission to pay for the home warranty if it's worth enough. I had a limit where I wouldn't do this unless the home was worth at least $350,000 or something, or at least I think I had a tier here. So if the home price was this, then I would do a full protection. If it was worth in this range, then I would pay half of it. And if it was worth in this range, I would do less. You know, I do the basic plan. So I would help them pay for the home warranty out of my commission as a way of giving back to them instead of taking a commission hit. And they'd say, well, would you list it for 2.5% instead of 300,000, instead of 3%? So this was a cheaper way to give them a discount. Okay. All right, something you could think about doing. My home upgrades. If their house has never been listed in the MLS and you don't have good current information on it, this is a nice piece to give them to get them to explain to you in writing all the things that they've done to their house and how much they've spent on fixing up their house. New listing process checklist. This needs updating. I think I have a more updated version to give you guys. But this is a list of all the things that I do when I take a new listing. So they can see I'm going to be busy for the first few weeks of the listing trying to get all these things done. And that just shows them that I am earning my money. Okay, there's a long list of things that I do to help them sell their house. And they can see that I'm working. I'm not just putting a sign in the yard and waiting for my check. Okay. This one's more up to date. Okay. Property information checklist. This basically gives you the information that you need to put it in the MLS. So if it's never been in the MLS, this would be a helpful form that you can use for them to explain to you the different things and features in this house that you might need to be able to put this information in the MLS, okay? Let's see. We're not seeing too much of this right now. iBuyers are basically on hold, but there's programs through Zillow and a few other, Redfin and a few other companies that are offering to buy people's homes instead of having them go on the market and go through all that process and hassle. And it costs about the same in fees, and they lose money doing it. And so this explains how this is going to work. So iBuyer is going to offer $225,000, but I think the real fair market value is $250,000. So you go through this whole process. What's your closing costs and what's your commissions and the service fees and repairs and so forth. And in this case, with iBuyers, they net 96, and with me, they're going to net 130. Do they really want to walk away from $33,000 of equity? So this explains that process to them a little bit. Okay. References. So I have in here a list of my references for them, who I've worked with and their contact info. And I even tell them what they should ask them about me. Did Camille do a good job for you? Was Camille pleasant to work with? Did Camille answer emails and calls promptly? Would you recommend Camille to other home sellers? 4 simple questions that they can call any of these people on this list. And I give them, you know, several people so that's not a cherry pick list of just 2 or 3. Now, you don't have any seller references yet, so this wouldn't work for you. But when you do, you want to do something like this. Even if they never call these people, and I've never had anybody actually call them, it gives them peace of mind that I'm willing to give them this. If I feel that confident that they're going to get a good answer from these people, then I would give them 10 names of people I've worked with in the last 2 years to call and ask about me and what they should say to ask questions about me. Then they say, well, she wouldn't do that if she didn't think we were going to get a good answer out of them. So there you go. So that helps even if they never call them, which I've never really had anybody do. Testimonials. So oftentimes when I finish a transaction with someone, I will actually write a small blurb and ask them to endorse that. I try to get them to write on Zillow and Google for me, but they just don't do it. They don't like doing it. So at least I have some sort of testimonial from them about how I worked with them that I can present to sellers. So these are 1 page is enough of people that have hired me in the past and what we did together and how they liked working with me, what they saw, what they thought about my work ethic and the work that I did to get their property sold. Then we have tips on preparing your home for sale. This is a great piece to give to people to help them prepare their home for sale. because they're wondering, how much money should I spend? What should I focus on? And this sort of explains that in about 3 pages of what I recommend that they do to get their home ready for the market, okay? Neutralizing, cleaning, uncluttering, repairing, kitchen and bath tips, exterior tips, interior tips, okay? Simple things without spending a lot of money that they can do to get their house ready to put on the market. And then here's a piece on tips on showing your home. So once we go on the market, then they've got to put up with people traipsing through their home to see it and see if they want to buy it. So I tell them things like, turn off your television, get the kids out of the house, get the dog out of the house, leave your house open and light and all the lights on and the drapes open. Make sure your dishes are done and your beds are made. Don't leave clutter around. Don't leave your towel on the bathroom floor. Keep your drugs and your prescriptions out of sight. Lock your firearms away. Make sure that your home is, theft proof. Don't leave valuables out. Don't leave your diamond jewelry on the dresser. You never know what's going to happen. Hopefully that nobody would take it, but you just don't know. So don't tempt people. Okay. Top 4 reasons homes don't sell. I do this especially for sale by owners and expireds. So these are the top 4 reasons that a house would go expired instead of sell during the listing period. Poor marketing, bad photos, a lousy agent, and incorrect pricing. And I explain how I overcome all of those problems in my work, okay? And top 10 reasons to trust me. I don't use this one right now, but it's a good one to use. This explains about my experience and that I'm a full-time agent, that I give back to the community, that I'm a licensed broker, not just a sales agent, and I focus on sellers. I know how to price things right. I know how to market things right. This was when I was trying to start a team back in the desert, so I had this one set up as a team one. But anyway, top agent interview questions, we did that one. And who is HomeSmart? Who is HomeSmart? So this one probably is out of date, but this one is a small piece to explain who is HomeSmart in a nutshell. You know, how long have we been here as an office, and how long has HomeSmart been in the business nationally? And then why 6%? This is a great piece that explains to people where their commission is going. Why 6%? So this is an attempt on my part to get them to be happy to pay 6% instead of 5%, but also to explain to them why it costs so darn much to hire a realtor. Okay, so it goes through all of the different things we have to spend money on to be in the business, and why it makes sense to hire somebody and pay the price of 6% instead of 5%. I have marketing expenses. If you don't pay me properly, I don't have money to do that for you. And I have a lot of expenses. People think that we just make 6%, that each agent gets 6% and pockets the whole amount and goes to Mexico for a vacation right after we sell your house. Obviously, you guys understand now that's not the case. So I explained to them, we have business expenses and it costs a lot of money to be in this business. So I explain all that to them, and that, you know, if they're more concerned about the price of the agent, they're going to miss out on a good negotiator and a good marketer by hiring somebody who doesn't have the skills that I have to help them. So that's my handouts that I put in a marketing package in addition to the to the RSA listing package. And I'm going to give you all this information that I have developed over the 10 years I've been doing this, and it's yours to use as you see fit. All right, let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation here. Whoops, that's not the right one. I want to go to the other one. There we go. Okay, so going back to our presentation here. Any questions on that stuff right now? Okay, so your next steps. I also am going to give you scripts and dialogues of what to say as you work with sellers, just to get the appointment and to get into the listing appointment itself, and your follow-up. So I've gotten a lot of stuff out of Tom Ferry as an agent when I did the coaching program with them, I'm going to share all of that with you, and you'll want to modify it to your way of speaking and what makes sense to you. But you'll have a starting place, and you'll have an idea of what people are going to come back at you with when you try to talk to them about selling their home. Well, my cousin's a realtor. I think I should hire them, or my sister, or my mother, or whatever. Everybody knows a realtor, right? Why should they pick you over somebody they already know? And they'll, well, so-and-so said it's going to be $450 and it's really only worth $400. How do you handle that objection? And lots and lots more objections. I think I have 30 objections in there, something like that, for you to deal with. Practice, practice, practice until you're comfortable with this. Practice with each other, practice with your family members, and get comfortable with this. It's going to be hard the first time you go on a listing presentation. You're going to be nervous and you're going to forget what to say. So have some cheat sheets, have some practice under your belt, and practice, go along, tag along with another realtor, either me or somebody else, and watch what happens and what gets said. Every listing presentation is going to be different. You can't control all the variables that are going to happen to make it a perfect, repeatable listing presentation. But we do our best with having these tools in our tool belt to handle objections ahead of time. And that's what a lot of this handout stuff is for, handling objections ahead of time. And, just making sure we cover all the things that they need to know to make a decision about who to hire to sell their most important asset. Okay, now I want you to get out there and do it. Okay, what else do we got? Homework. Okay, there's training videos in the Real Smart Agent panel. There's 4 one-hour videos on getting more listings. So go watch those. You'll learn more stuff than what I can teach you in this class today. And there's going to be more tips, and you'll get to hear from other agents who are successful listing agents and how they do things and what they do. That'll be valuable information for you. So watch the RSA training videos on how to do the branded CMA. That's in the first video tab. It looks a lot more professional and impressive than the MLS CMA. CMA and the MLS is easy to do, but it's kind of frumpy looking. So learn how to do the CMA in the RSA. Download and customize the PowerPoint presentation. If you're not using PowerPoint, there is a version you can use through Google. So check that out, and you can also convert it into a Google format. Practice creating CMAs for both the seller in the MLS and the RSA. Pretend that you're going to present that to them, and what are they going to be looking for, and how would you present it? I want you to go buy 10 presentation folders in the Marketing Design Center and 1 yard sign. Now, you may not be able to do that right now, but as soon as you are able, I think that will help you. When I was new, I didn't use beautiful presentation folders. I don't even think we had them when I first started with HomeSmart, but now we do, and they're lovely, and they really present a professional image. So I recommend doing that. If you can't do that, at least go buy some red glossy folders at Office Depot and use that. They're a little bit cheaper to do that way, but not much, truly not much. All right, there's lots of other Did You Know webinars in the RSA that you can view to learn more about doing listings. And there's materials in the downloads from the Tom Ferry stuff that I downloaded from his coaching. There's lots more there too. And you're going to find webinars and seminars on Facebook in your Facebook feed. I encourage you to go sign up for those. Most of the time those are free. They're often selling something. So don't just jump in and buy their $200 a month coaching program. Do Google reviews before you buy anything on the internet like that. But you can learn some great stuff. There's one called, I can't remember, I'll have to forward it to you. But they do some great training, and it's free. And you can almost do everything that they're proposing in their training by piecing together in different ways. And they go in and they work with for sale by owners to list, to promote those looking for buyers. And they never list the for sale by owner necessarily. Sometimes they do, probably. But their point is that they're out looking for buyers using that for sale by owner property as bait. And they show you how to do that. So there's lots of great training out there, and take advantage of that, but don't sign up and pay for stuff if you don't have the money to do that right now. Just don't do that, but do learn what you can from those webinars. All right, next class, we're going to learn how to get listing appointments. We're going to talk about some of the traditional ways of getting those appointments through cold calling, circle dialing for sale by owners and expireds, farming, door knocking, smart data, and direct mailing. Okay, we've already covered how to work with your database, but that is also a good place to get listing appointments from, by contacting the people in your database. So if you haven't done that lately, call people, check in and see how they're doing and how they're dealing with this virus, and ask them if they've talked to anybody who's thought of buying or selling, or if they don't know you're in real estate already, you can let them know, by the way, I just got my real estate license. But call and check on people in your database. That would be something productive that you can do even during COVID right now. If they, it feels like we can't do anything right now, but we can. Okay, there's my closing note. Thank you all for attending. How are we doing for time? I think we're just a little bit over. Okay, I'm gonna stop share, bring all of you back. Hello. What did you find today that was helpful? You can unmute yourselves.
I like the paperwork that you can present, like the brochures and the packet to give to the sellers. Is there one for buyers that shows like each step of the way, how the one had the arrows? I know that there's less as far as what we do on the buyer side, but for them to understand the process of like the loan preparation.
Yeah, that listing presentation has a buyer set too. I had pulled those slides out, but there is a buyer presentation in the same package. It works for buyers and sellers. You just hide the slides you don't need.
Okay. That's nice.
I like the listing presentation. Of course, I had seen it because you shared it with me before, but I also like the ones that you showed us from your file that show, why trust me, 10 things to prepare your house, things like that. I think those are all real helpful as well.
Good. Amara, what did you think? What did you learn today?
I just learned, more about how much it takes to prepare for the listing presentations. But I like the material. I think it's cool, and it would be easy to model it kind of to myself.
I've done 90% of the work for you. And I'm giving it to you for free. That's really valuable information.
Yeah,
and I paid a lot for it. What's that?
Oh, I was just going to say, I liked, I didn't realize that once we put it in the MLS, that it goes out to all those other websites automatically. I didn't even know that. So that was really great. And of course, like everybody said, all this listing stuff. And I'm just wondering, are you going to be emailing that to us directly, or how all that?
I think I'll send you a Dropbox link because it's too much to email.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you, because that is like, would be a lot to research and put together.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm excited to go on the Marketing Design Center and kind of play around with it and see, because that's one aspect of it I haven't really played with, is the listing stuff, and now kind of see what all is available there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I was curious too, you said you recommend we go and buy 10 packets, but I kind of just pulled it up now, and I'm a little confused as to which one is a listing.
Okay, so if you go into listing presentation stuff, marketing presentation, and there should be a button for folders.
Just buy the, so you're saying you just have us buy the actual folder itself and then put together the content from your. Oh, okay. That's okay.
They're only $1.50 each, and they're all nicely designed, and you just slip your business card in there, and in the front there's a slot, little cuts that you can put your business card in there, and you slip in the materials, and you drop it off the day before your listing appointment, and they get a chance to review it ahead of time, and half your presentation is done for you already.
Okay, that sounds great.
Aaron, what do you think? What are you going to do? What did you find to help you?
Well, I agree with Maya. I didn't realize that HomeSmart pushed the listings out to all these sites beyond just what a normal agent in another office or brokerage might get through the MLS listing. So I thought that was really helpful to know that. And I thought it was helpful, the idea of selling you and your experience. I have a brother-in-law that lives in a really posh neighborhood and was telling me a couple weeks ago, oh yeah, our one of our neighbors was thinking about selling. And I said, hey, give me a call. And they're like, really though, on your very first, because it's like $1 million house. Or, and I was like, well, but so I don't know if I'll be able to follow up on that or not, but
we could do it together.
Yeah,
I've sold $1 million.
Then it will be her. She'll be helping you.
I had that idea too. It's just, I don't know.
Right.
I will make an attempt.
Yeah.
It's.
If you don't want to follow up, let one of us know.
Yeah, you've got 6 people on here that'll do it.
Yeah, really, Aaron. Don't be selfish here.
No, it's not that. I've planned to follow up on that. To make it ask. It's just a question of how to go about that.
Yeah. So you can say that, you're going to work together with me, and I have sold $1 million homes. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
10 years of experience. I've sold, more over 100 homes, like 130 or something.
Yeah.
I've ran into the same thing with friends and family where it's like even though you're not experienced, you're kind of expecting them to give you that business. And when they hesitate to that, it's like you don't know what to do and you don't want to step on any toes. So I'm totally with you there. And I understand, you have to go about it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and my brother-in-law and his wife, we're really good friends as well. It's just, they know I'm just getting started, and
Right.
this is.
But if they know you have somebody to team up with who has that experience, maybe you could get a chance.
Yeah. I'll definitely bring it up.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I will co-list with you as you do your first transactions, so that they have the confidence that you have, somebody else who knows what they're doing, helping you.
Right.
And Martin, that worked out pretty well on our deal, right?
Yes, it did. I highly recommend it.
He learned a lot. I let him take the lead on everything. We would have private conversations about what to do next or how to handle problems, so that he didn't look like a dummy in front of them and didn't know what to do. I would tell him, here's what we should do. Let him present it to them. And as far as they knew, he was a professional, experienced realtor.
My dummy side was only exposed to Camille.
That's right. No, but Martin did a fantastic job on that. He would come to me and say, here's what happened. Here's what I think we should do. What do you think? And we worked together really well as a team on it.
It was great. Yeah, I did learn a lot, all joking aside. And I know it's scary and taking that first step. And I hear you about the relatives and you don't want to step on their toes, ruffle any feathers. But hey, if anybody's going to give you a chance, it's going to be somebody that knows you and trusts you already. So, yeah.
Right. And these were friends of Martin's, but they still needed to be confident that Martin had backing to get this done, because they knew, I think, that it was his first sale ever, not just a listing, first sale.
Ever.
And so I jumped in there. I organized Zoom conferences with them. They're in California. And we had meetings as the 4 of us to discuss, the process and the steps that we needed to do and get everything done. And it worked out great.
And they also knew selling their home was going to be a challenge. They knew that.
Right.
So they had their concerns.
Mm-hmm. And they'd already had a bad experience with a previous realtor
Yeah.
who would not let them out of their contract. They had to suffer through waiting it out for 4 more months after the agents had been fired. So, not nice when people do that. I don't understand that. been fired. Go away.
Yeah, yeah, leave me alone.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, awesome, you guys. I think next week we're doing the traditional lead sources, but there's lots that you can be learning this week while things are fairly quiet out there. You know, you can still build up your pipeline and try to find people who are needing to move now or thinking of moving as soon as we get past this COVID thing. And they're still out there. People are still needing to move. I got a lead that I have been working with for a few months now contacted me last night and said that the job that he was supposed to take here is opening back up and he's thinking he's ready to move out here now, even with this, asking me, how's the market right now? Have things softened or the prices dropped yet? I'm like, no, they really haven't dropped yet, but you know, if you need to move, I'm here to help. We are still working. I can help you. And he's in California right now. So we're doing virtual showings and things like that to help him. So there's still business going on out there. The office is open and we have tools to help you. And so if you do get the opportunity to do a listing or work with a buyer, use our virtual tools, and still possible. We still have deals going on in the office.
Yep.
Aaron's been busy this week too. He's gotten quite a few Op City leads and he's been working hard with those.
That's taken most of my time actually, is just working those Op City leads. So yeah, I got under contract yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Nice.
helps me all the way through. So
Yeah, isn't that exciting? So
yeah.
yeah, there's stuff out there to do. Okay, you guys have a great weekend and stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.